What is up, guys? We are playback trading May 23rd. I wasn't going to record, but there's so many good trades here and some ton of stuff to talk about. A lot of information we gathered up from just this one day, so let's get right into it. Alrighty, go ahead and take a look at that screen and let's go. Okay, so first off, we got a pretty lucky trade here. We got this like swing high, first entry, second entry, and it is a bad setup in regards to the second entry, but it is a place where people would be taking trades due to the fact it's at this like low area right here. So a lot of the trades we took we're going to be using this volume by price indicator on the left hand side, something we added into the strategy, and it's been working out pretty well. And yeah, just finding those levels of support and resistance doesn't work too well with staircases like we had initially planned, but using it for levels of support and resistance, I think, is where it's really shines. But anyway, so we got the swing high, first entry, second entry. Here I think we're right here actually. No, it's right here. So it's this right here, this setup right here. And if you take a look at this, you can see there's a ton of trading there according to this. But it's just an overall downtrend because these are pretty much inconsistent lows. This could have been taken either way. You could have actually sold here saying this was an uptrend if you took a look at the minute chart right here. But for me, it pushed down just a little bit too far, and this is kind of in no man's land for me. So that's why we went for the buy. We got it by the tick. But yeah, you could have also treat it as an uptrend some way, somehow, if you were able to find it, but I didn't see it. But either way it works. If you were to buy or go for a non-obvious sell, it would have worked. And so yeah, then we get the swing low, first entry, second entry here. An overall trend. At this point we get the bars working up, and so these are going to be staircase highs, even though these don't give us the indication of these staircase highs and lows. It's going to be these are going to be staircase highs and lows because you have this rangy day, and they're really effective, especially on days where they look like they're going to be trending days but aren't. They're more like range days, and you get these highs here, and they're pretty consistent, and it's a good trend. It's not a spike, so you get these nice consistent highs, and then once you get this massive spike in that direction, you get the correction. Then you want to go for the buy on the one ticker here, and you would have got that pretty easily. And then you get a swing high, first entry, second entry, and just continue the spike. You just go for the buy right there, and yeah. Also, you could have said it was also a downtrend on that low, and it kept pushing lower there and lower and lower. And so you would trade this overall downtrend, you would go for the buy. And so, yeah. Then we come to this swing low, first entry, second entry. I think we took this one live, and it works out well. It was that swing low, first entry, second entry. We had that high, and it was just a whoop-de-doo high because it's a spike into it. It was not really a trend into this high. Maybe if it was a trend into a slope, into like slope, and then that high, then there would be a staircase high, but it's not because it's just spikes into it. And so that's just an overall uptrend on that whoop-de-doo high, and then you just go for that swing low, first entry, second entry, and go for the sell right there. And that works out very well. I mean, you couldn't have sold that at a better spot if you had a runner. An entire week profit. Then you get this swing high, first entry, second entry. Overall trend is up. So you want to go for a non-obvious sell here, but you don't really get into it, unfortunately. But yeah. Alright, then we get the swing low, first entry, second entry. Pretty good trade here. So this one's a very interesting. This is where the trades get really interesting. We have this that's became pretty obvious. Maybe if you wanted to do something like that, maybe, but the midline doesn't really react too much. It actually kind of reacts in this area right here. But we treat it as an overall actually, so here, this is what happens. So we get the bounce off here, right? And then we had the swing low first entry, second entry, and so we added something that we've seen 100 times over, which is if you get that second entry, textbook second entry, swing low first entry, second entry, and your entry is right on that top of that trend line, that's going to be an overall downtrend. And so you just go for a non-obvious buy, even though, you know, our strategy says, but yeah, this is something we're implementing. And we've had initially, when we first created the strategy, this is what it was around, which was going against second entries like this. And so it will be a non-obvious buy in that textbook second entry, and we get it by the scale. All right, and then we have this swing high first entry, second entry. Excuse me. There's no consistent like trend area here, so you don't use that. It's just gonna be what we did here is the overall. We looked at the minute chart here. If you take a look at this, where's is this it right here? What time is this? All right, so if we take a look at the minute chart, you can see there's some sort of level of support here, and it's really debateful. You're like on the fence, like, all right, the bar's closed there a couple times and you got pretty good rejection. It is a rangy day, so you don't really need that many tests, but the thing that really makes this stand out as an overall uptrend, wait, what trade were we talking about again? Swing on first entry, I'll try 22. Yeah. Okay, so especially after that bar right there, then you get that extra test, and you see just how much trading volume is in this one particular area. I mean, that's the second runner up next to this. And so that's going to really create the overall trend to be up. That's going to make that really strong level of support because there's enough buys and sells in there. It's like that 50%. So that's going to create the overall trend up, and you just go for the sell there. Treat that as an overall uptrend there. And yeah. Then we get this nice swing low first entry, second entry. Now this one's also an interesting one. First, you might think it's falling congestion, but then you get a break in there. So and you don't come back down to that low, and it kind of breaks the highs of that little trend right there too. So you got the break, so that's just gonna be overall trend down. And then you might think to yourself, oh wait, that could be support. I think it's right here. And you could say to yourself, wait, that could be a good amount of support. There's buys and sells, but if you take a look at it, this zone right here has buys and this zone here has sells. This one doesn't have any sells, this one doesn't have any buys, or not enough. So this is not going to be a level of support to declare an overall uptrend. So it's just going to be a downtrend. Go for the non-obvious buy, and that works out fantastically. Yeah, and if we keep going here, then we got a swing low first entry, second entry. Overall trend is just down there. Let's see, yeah, just down there. And yeah, and I think we come around these areas, but none of these areas have any particular weight to them, especially if you pull it like this. They don't have any like volume there. They're kind of really just sudden movements, so not enough people putting their stops here, I don't believe. But yeah, yeah, so that's gonna be it. Oh wait, we had one more trade here. Then we get this trend down, and this one's a pretty good one as well. Yeah. Oh, and you could have also, and that's something I wanted to mention here, that you could have done something like this and been like, oh look, that's something noticeable. But something you really want to happen in your trend lines is rejection and test. This is just congestion. We want rejection, kind of like a nice clean trend, just like this. You can see the rejection bouncing off there. That's a nice trend. This is not going to be a nice trend. It's just congestion, and you want rejection off that low to confirm that. So that's just going to really create the overall downtrend, and not the uptrend there. Then here we get those nice clear rejections. So that's going to be an overall uptrend on this swing high first entry, second entry, non-obvious buy. This came all the way down to low, didn't stop them out, so you could technically still stay in the trade. And yeah, that would have been it. All right, I talked a lot. My throat hurts. Okay, peace out. Bye.